Hello guys. Hello guys, my name's Calamity Joe. Welcome back to a new Minecraft YouTube live stream. We're live on this channel. Welcome. Just gotta put the stream in my Discord server. Just gotta put the stream in my Discord server because yeah. So no, I don't want to auto save on. I pressed the wrong button. Settings. We made a little villager house earlier on at the top of a mountain. Hello, King Flavio Consigno. Welcome to the stream. Hello. Looks lovely, doesn't it? Start at the top of the mountain. Oh, look who it is. Hello, Patrick. Welcome to the stream. Is that? Oh, it's the tree. Oh, it's the dead tree of whatever we called it. Gravelon? Gravapos? Hello, the Joke 60. Welcome to the stream. What is this over here? I know it's a dead tree, but is it, what do we call it? The dead tree of Gravaposh? Gravelodge? Gravelathian? I know we called it something. Hello, Omnivale. I'm really good. How are you? Right, I know it's called the Dead Tree. I posted 3 amazing digits of this week. When is my most popular and long video? Cool. The Dead Tree of Granivian. What did I call it? Gravelos. Gravelos. We must go to Gravelos right now. Gravelos. I'm going to write that down. Gravelos. Nice name. Do you guys like my little village hut I've just made out of ice? I'm going to put a Minecraft villager in it soon. My first day of school was last Thursday and Friday. Honestly, Omnivale, when I was in school, up to a long time ago now, guys, because I left school 6 years ago in June. When I left secondary school, guys, my last year of year 11, we started on a Friday. Then we had the weekend. I could understand if you start on a Wednesday or a Thursday in good old vampire territory. Oh, of course, Romania, yeah, Transylvania. Dracula, blah, blah, blah. I do love a good vampire film. What do you guys think? Of our little ice hat. Right. An ice hat. Well, basically, it's meant to look like a Bedrock Minecraft village. It's meant to look like a Bedrock NPC Minecraft house. It's meant to look like how a Minecraft house would look like for villagers would look like in Bedrock Edition. But what I've done, I have made the same model, but I've made it in ice. I've made it out of ice. So you can see through it. We will get a villager in there soon, but when we have a chance to do that. It's not that far from the ice dome. It's not that far from the ice dome. It's not that far from the dome house. No, ice doesn't melt. Ice doesn't melt. Ice only melts in Minecraft Legacy Console Edition and Bedrock Edition. Ice only mounts in Bedrock and Legacy Edition if you have torches next to it. So if you build something out of ice, it won't melt. Something out of ice only melts if there's something been built next to it, like with torches, which is why we've used redstone torches to light it, because redstone torches don't melt. It doesn't melt ice. Believe it or not, I believe, yeah. I knew this house was here. What's in it? What's in there actually? That stone's not needed. I think I had to dig some stone out of the ground. So, yeah, we're gonna head back. Oh, I've got an itchy nose. I apologise for the later stream, guys, but I wanted to watch England play against Andorra before streaming. England were on at 5 o'clock and they finished roughly 15 minutes ago. I thought they played terribly against Andorra. I found myself, even though they won 2-0, I found myself shouting at the TV quite a lot, going shoot, shoot, shoot. Lost 3-0 to Canada. Yeah, that's a friendly though. It's not a World Cup qualifier. Yeah, that's a friendly, because Romania would never play Canada in a World Cup qualifier, because a World Cup qualifiers you play via what continent you're in. So, and they do it quite fairly actually. They do it quite fairly because in 2001 Australia played American Samoa, and American Samoa lost 31-0. So that they wanted to make sure that never happened again. They didn't want to see, they didn't want to see teams play against opposition teams and the odds be absolutely against them. Yeah, England were playing a World Cup qualifier, so England currently have the England national team in the World Cup qualifiers. They now have the England team in the World Cup qualifiers now have 12 points. England have played. Andorra have lost all 5, so Andorra haven't scored. The thing is, though, Andorra is a micronation, so the chances that Andorra get into the World Cup are always very slim. So they've played 5 games in the World Cup qualifiers, and they've conceded. They've scored none, conceded 10. And they've lost all 5 games. England have won all 4. Serbia have won 2, drew 1. Albania have won 1, drew 2, lost 1. Latvia have won 1, drew 1, lost 2. But as it stands, England in the World Cup qualifiers, you were the best. Hello, Canelli, Caneloni? Sorry, I can't say your name. Thank you. You're the best. Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you. Yeah, what I mean, hello, Swiss Rex. Hello to Infinity. Welcome to the stream. I should do something with this leftover ice. Yeah, so I apologise for the I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. How about you? I'm really good. How are thank you for asking. That's really kind of you. How are you, Twofinity? Um, I apologise for the late stream, everybody. I was watching England play in the football because England were playing Andorra today. How could you? I'm good. Thank you for asking. That's really kind of you. Welcome to the stream. I apologise for the late stream, everybody. I wanted to watch England's play in the World Cup qualifiers. England were played a game at 5 o'clock, which they won 2-0, but I thought they played shit. I gotta be honest, guys. Even though they won 2-0, the US is winning the World Cup. That's the thing, though, Swiss Rex. America could potentially win the World Cup, but you'd have to change your whole well, you call it soccer, don't you? You would have to absolutely change it to win it, because the MLS is not seen as a competitive league. Most of the well, I don't think France. I think the teams will get there this time. I reckon England won't be far away this year. I'm convinced. I'm 100% convinced that Brazil's going to be somewhere near under Carlo Ancelotti. I think Argentina will do really well in trying to retain the crown. And I do think France, but I think even Spain might be somewhere near. I don't know why. I don't think Portugal will be anywhere near. Even though Portugal won... Well, I don't know what Portugal's score was, but I know they were winning 5-0 at one point. Yeah, they did win 5-0. Portugal won 5-0. I know Cristiano Ronaldo scored. Okay. Yeah, so I think the next World Cup will be between England, Argentina, Brazil, and France. Oh, I've got to go, sorry. It's alright. Thank you for watching the live stream. This stream ain't going to be on for long tonight, guys. I mean, it's literally 7:20 now. We've been streaming for, 12 minutes because, as I said, we made a little hut. I made a little hut for a YouTube video earlier on. It's meant to look like a Bedrock Minecraft NPC village house, and except I built it out of ice, so we can live in a genuine hut out of ice, so you can see through it. Just nobody take a shower. Ooh, pardon me. So, there we go. We're going to go this way and in it. We're gonna have to go in it because we need somewhere to sleep. So, just gonna point this live chat, change it to live chat so I can see what people are putting. We were saying top chat just now. Top chat doesn't always put everything in it, so just gonna leave this ice here and the redstone torches. So I like it. How is everyone on this stream? Guys, I'm gonna do a podcast episode tomorrow, but it will be us talk. It won't be on a film though. It'll be doing a topic. It's a topic that I find rather interesting and don't know how it works, how it will work. Oh my god, sorry guys, there's something in my ear. There we go. Just gonna check some notifications a minute. Oh. Do 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 do. La 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 la. Ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba 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 ba. Ba 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 boom 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 boom. Right, just want to check a couple of notifications that I've got. A guy who watches my streams commented this morning saying, was I going to go live? And I responded with not until after England. And they commented, are you streaming now? A couple of times. I don't think they got that I was not going to stream till after the England match. Because I wanted to watch England. I haven't really watched any of their games under Thomas Tuchel yet, bar a little bit of the Senegal game, which I shouted at the TV. But I will admit, I shouted at the TV in that game because England had a goal ruled out for something stupid. England Senegal ended up 3-1, but it went to 2-2, and they ruled out a goal. They ruled out a goal because it hit someone it hits Jude Bellingham the shoulder, but it actually hit him in the stomach, and the referee went and ruled it out for handball, which I just don't get how you can rule a ball that hits someone's stomach. Well, chest. I have seen it though. A few years ago for Everton, the ball hit a Everton player in the chest and went in. The referee ruled it out for a handball, which to this day I do not know how that referee ruled that out, because it hit his chest, it didn't hit his hand. If the ball hits your back and goes in, if the ball hits your back and goes in, it's still a goal. If it hits your chest, it's still a goal because it's not hit your hand. Hello, Jake Legend. Welcome to the stream. Right, let's cover up some of this stone here. That is just what? That is an odd comment to put on a YouTube stream. There might not be as much commentary in this stream, guys, because I got a bit of a toothache. I don't know what it is. One of my teeth is absolutely ridiculously sore. What do I want from here? Right. I'm gonna put a hole in the ground here. Well, that didn't work, did it? If you didn't know, cactuses actually destroy things. So, all the useless stuff here we could get rid of. But the one thing we can't get rid of is the last cactus. Unless we go over to the cactus enclosure, to our cactus thing here, and go there we go. Anything else in here that we can just get rid of? Perfect. Oh, we can get rid of that. The wall we can keep. There we go. So, what are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? We got an apple. Hello, LTO6. Welcome to the stream. Right, another 12 cactuses. Hello, Barracuda. Welcome to the stream. Right, let's just toss these onto here. Why do you have an apple? Because I just grabbed it out of the chest. I'm going through these chests a minute just to see what we have that we just don't need. Because I grabbed it out one of these chests. Well, I grabbed it out the other chest, actually. Actually, no. I'm just going to sneeze. We've got a couple of carrots. These carrots... It's not the only one left in the world. We've got loads. But plus, with apples in Minecraft, you can constantly get more of them via chopping trees down than replanting. Just clearing this chest, and I'm just doing it by throwing things at cactuses, which is quite an odd statement to say at the same time, but you know. So, I knew we had this chest here. What's in here? Actually, all this we can keep, I think. I thought that was dirt then, but it's not. It's mushroom blocks, which they are very useful, and I have never built anything out of them. I do want to, though. Well, don't need any of those. I'm writing the story for my game. Since you named Dave, should Dave be a human? He could be anything. I mean, you know, he could be anything. You know, Dave could actually be a hybrid. Dave could be a hybrid, for example. Dave could actually be nothing at all. No one knows who Dave is. Dave's is less of a who and more of a what. No one knows who Dave is. I quite like the idea of that, though, sometimes, with stories. I quite like the idea sometimes in stories when you actually don't know who the character is and they just appear. Because I'm thinking of writing a horror story at the moment. And I come up with this idea, guys. What do you think? I come up with an idea about things that escape through... about things that escape. I've come up with a story, like a horror story, about like people escaping from like museum artifacts coming alive. And, what? People escaping through pictures and things like that. I've come up with a horror story. I don't know whether it's a good idea or not, guys. What? I totally forgot about Night of the Museum. I like the first one. The second, I like the 3 films. They're all right. They are good films. Yeah. But not really museum. Could be anything. It could be, for example, someone escaping out a mirror. I didn't even know they did a TV show. I didn't even know if they did a TV show. Oh, they did one called They did not. They did an animated one. They did an animated one. They did an animated one. But what I hate when they do that, I hate when they do an animated one and then try and connect it to. I hate when they do an animated one, then try and tie it in. I didn't even know they did a TV series one. That's the thing, though. With those shows, I absolutely hate it when they do that. Oh, we'll do it as we'll do the next one as an animated one. That makes no sense. Like Fortnite. Yeah, it makes no sense. If a film's live action in the first 3, why do they animate it in the 4th one? I don't get that. It's like they did it with something else. And then they tried to connect it up, and it just doesn't make sense. Like James Gunn did it with yeah, I know James Gunn's doing it with DC, with the DCU. With the DC universe. Animated, some of it's animated, some of it's thing. And I don't agree with that, because you've now got to imagine these animated characters as real people. You've got to try and make them look as real as possible. And I just think it's better. I think it's all better live action. I don't know if Scooby-Doo's really connected. I thought that was a joke. I remember the animated one. Yeah. I never knew. I always thought Scooby-Doo was his own thing. I always thought it was a joke. Yeah, but that's because of the thing, isn't it? Didn't they do that because DC bought Hanna-Barbera, so but then DC merged it. It's the same as Thing. It's the same as how they did Shazam. I know they've done collabs because I remember the first one they ever did. I remember the first one they ever did. I had it on DVD. I've got Scooby-Doo meets... I literally had the clip Scooby-Doo meets Batman. I had that on the... I can't remember when they... I don't know what year it came out, but... It doesn't say when it was released. Oh, 2004. But yeah, I don't know. But the thing with that though, I didn't know whether that's possible to do. If you own the rights to the two of them, you can use them both. I thought they couldn't include them into that. If they could do that, couldn't they stick Harry Potter with Batman and things like that? Or is that not allowed? What's the exception and what's not? But I think with DC, I think they own Scooby-Doo as well. I think they own the... I think Warner Brothers owns them both, but I think DC owns Hanna-Barbera as well. I think anyway, but I'm not entirely sure. I know they did DC versus Marvel. I've always thought in recent years. I've thought about what could that be, and I think if you're looking at DC versus Marvel, I think Avengers first. I think Avengers versus Justice League. I think it gets down to Batman versus Iron Man. I think Batman wins it. But I think it gets down to Batman versus Iron Man. I think Batman kills Hulk, then kills Captain America. And I think it gets down to Batman versus Iron Man, and I think Iron Man gets the upper hand. I think Iron Man gets the upper hand initially, but the problem with Iron Man, what makes Batman such one of the greatest heroes? What makes Batman the greatest hero, is that he uses his enemies' weaknesses. He uses his enemies' strengths against them. And weaknesses. So Iron Man is very good. Yeah, but there's a law stopping that though as well. LTO 6. There's a law stopping that because they reckon Disney, they wanted to bring in a law to halt Disney because they thought I just said halt Disney. To halt Walt Disney. To halt. Welcome to Halt Disney. They wanted to halt Disney because they thought that Disney was owning too much of the competition. I'll give it in a minute, Barracuda. But the thing is, though, what I mean, LTO6, in the film industry, they think Disney owns too much competition, has bought up all the competition. So now Disney can shoot a shit film and still get $1 billion at the box office. What advice do you want, Barracuda? My laptop's about to go flat, so I just gotta plug the charger in. Can you... What advice do you want? What do you want advice on? Batman would just kidnap Peter. No, I think it goes... I think Batman and Iron Man go head to head. I think Spider-Man's already dead. I think it goes to... I told the other servers that I'll get new server link time ago. I don't understand what you're talking about. Oh, hold on a minute. Something's just popped on my screen. I told the other founders that I'll get new server long time. I didn't. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. That you'll get a new server. I'm a little bit confused about what advice you want, but I also don't understand what you mean. But I don't understand what you mean by you've told founders. So founders of what? Founders of the bank? I want to know how to make them stop. To make what stop? I want to know how to make them stop of my makeshift company. I'm confused. I'm a little. I don't know because I don't understand what you're talking about. You've got a makeshift company, but I don't get what advice you want, and I don't get what you mean by you want them to stop. But what? Oh, I got an itchy back. What? They ask you every day to get one. Who? The two founders. But I don't know what you're talking about, Barracuda. No offense, but I don't know what you're talking about. You are three founders. Yeah, but what you've put, it was completely didn't make sense. You should have said that at the start. Because what you put, you had to. It implies that I already know what you're talking about, which I didn't. Oh, so there's three of you and something server. Hello, Bite Rush. Disney should just make a movie where everything they do fights. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Well, the problem with Disney though is Disney just tick boxes now and don't really care about the storyline. So I think we need to stop this political narratives about we need to stop these overly political narratives about, you know, we've got to cast everybody under the sun. What? How's your day been? My day's been really good. How's yours been? So you own a company, a hosting company, and you need servers to work. Yes. And you're the only one without one at the moment. Yeah. And they are mad because, well, are they mad because they have one and you don't? So if they're mad with you because you don't have one, why not leave the project? Why not leave the project? Do you actually know them in person? Hey Joe, Data Chain. Hello, Mason. Welcome to the stream. How are you, Mason? Well, I wouldn't believe that though, LTO6, because they've only really I think they're still shitting it, so you need to buy one. But the people that you're doing it with, do you actually know them in person? Barracuda? Hello, Darren Van Zyl, welcome to the stream. It was shown off at D23. Oh, so D23, what's that? What is D23? Could be better, but alright, thanks for asking. How about yourself? I'm good, thank you for asking. I'm just living, streaming. I'm just streaming. I'm trying to get through the next 2 weeks, and then I'm on holiday for a bit, so I need a break, guys. I haven't had a break in over 15 months. No, you haven't answered my question. You haven't answered my question, Barracuda. The people that you're obviously founded this company with, do you know them in general, as in person? Well, that makes more sense. I thought you were going to say no then, and because they were mad. When you said they were mad, and I thought you were going to say you didn't know them in person. Because my question would have been, why would you go into business with people that you don't know? But yeah, that's understandable though. But it's not. But the thing is though, when you go into business with people, you've got to pull your weight as well, if you get what I mean. But people have got to be understanding that it's hard to do stuff. People have got to be understanding it's hard to do stuff, but also, well, people have got to be understanding, but also, if you're going into business with someone, it's got to be like a joint effort. You've all got to pull your weight, if you get what I mean. Yeah, but if it's broke, that's not your. If it's broke, that's not your fault. And it does take time to replace things. I've been playing a lot of Xbox 360 lately. It's been fun, but it sucks that 360 story's gone. Yeah. The only one that's not gone in Legacy Console Edition terms, I think, is the Nintendo Switch. Because the Nintendo Switch obviously still is a console. But the thing is, though, Barracuda, business is not for everyone. $100 for a 15-year-old. Are they older than you then? Well, yeah, it is hard, but then it is harder, yeah. Oh my god, my back. Sorry, guys. I've got a bit of a bad back today. Yeah, also the PS3 is still up, but it's still a pain and headache to record PS3 gameplay. Yeah. I'm just going to quickly clear... I'm just going to clear a couple of tabs. Well, I gotta be honest, I'm not interested to see Toy Story 5. I don't understand why they do that. I don't understand why film companies now decide to continue film series that they did 30 years ago. It makes sense, money, but that's the problem though. That's the problem with that's the problem that I hate LTO6. They would rather go to the old franchises rather than give people opportunities to make new ones. And that's something that I find really annoying. Like Toy Story, the first two Toy Stories, Toy Story 1 was 1995. Was anyone here alive in 1995? Was anyone here alive in 1995 when the first Toy Story came out? You were born in 98. Anybody else? Because literally, the first two, literally the first two Toy Stories. The first two Toy Stories came out before I was born, and then the last two came out afterwards. The thing is, though, you know, the first Toy Story came out in 1995. Toy Story 2 came out in 1999. Yeah. But that's the thing, though. Well, I think, though, actually, that makes sense, though. That kind of makes sense, LTO6, to be honest. Because the young girl who was in number 3 is still a kid in number 4. But the thing is, though, Toy Story 1 was 1995. Toy Story 2 was Toy Story 2 was 1999. Toy Story 3 was 2010. Toy Story 4 was 2019. Now, I think by the time Toy Story 5 comes out next year, the first one would have been 31 years ago. Like, Tom Hanks is what? How old is Tom Hanks? Like 65? Might be older than that, actually. Might be 70. Yeah, Tom Hanks is 69. Is 70 next year. Tom Hanks was 39. Tom Hanks was 39 in the first Toy Story. By the time this next one comes out, he will be 70. I just don't get how you can keep bringing back series and doing that. So it's like Star Wars makes sense. The first one, 98, 2007, 2008, 5 and 20. And I think the girl hasn't aged. But that's the thing, though. Shrek looks the same. I'm not excited. I don't want to watch the new Shrek film as much as I liked Shrek 1, 2, and 3. 4 isn't too bad. I don't know, though, to be honest, Bite Rush. It's because I love film. Honestly, I love film. But what they need to do is stop bringing back old film series. I understand if you're doing something like 30 years later, 40 years later, like Spaceballs. Spaceballs makes sense because everyone's always wanted a second Spaceball film. It's like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Loved the first couple of books, but then now he's done like 20 books, and he's now done 20 books. So that kid would now, Greg Heffley should be 30 odd now. Greg Heffley would have been born July 16th, 1996. He's normally always portrayed to be 12 or 13. But in that book, as the series progresses, he turns 15 by the release of the 19th book. But he should be about 30. He should be 29 because he's done 20 odd books. The books are alright. The first 3 films are alright. I liked the first 3 films, but then I thought the 4th one was ridiculous. You're meant to believe that they're the same people, despite the fact they cast too young. Well, to do the 4th one, they cast too young. So Zach Gordon, who played Greg in the first 3, he was 14 in the last film, and then they hired a 10-year-old to replace him in the 4th film. Yeah, well, yeah, but Family Guy's not real, Barracuda. Family Guy is a cartoon. Those cartoons you can continue. Yeah, but those are animated. But I'm saying about actual film. Actual film like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, where they hired someone 4 years younger to play a character meant to be older, doesn't make sense. It's like have you guys ever watched the film the superhero movie? Yeah, no, but what I meant is you shouldn't bring back TV movies that you can't keep going back to the old franchises and adding more and more movies just because you know they make money. Well, they could do. They could just stick a fat man in a clip and do that, but yeah. But the thing with TV series is that with film, I'm not talking about the ages, Barracuda. I'm saying with Toy Story, that they did the first one and the second one came out 30 years ago. I don't see the point of them making a fifth one now after 30 years after the first one. Yeah, the one with Drake Bell, yeah. Kevin Hart's playing a teenager, despite the fact Kevin Hart was 30. Kevin Hart's playing like a 16 or 17-year-old kid, and Kevin Hart was at least 29 at the time. And I just never understood that. I've never understood when they do those ones. Because money, yeah, but that's what I said. That's what I said. But the problem is nowadays, if you keep going back to those old films, eventually you're not going to have anything new. You're not going to have anything new because they aren't willing to put the budget into newer films now. Oh, that made us money. Let's go and make another one. But they keep doing that and keep on doing it. It's ridiculous. With I mean, they did it with Thing as well. The Fast and Furious. They did it with Fast and Furious. Like, what's that now? Fast and Furious and Saw. They just brought in so many. Hello, Tyrese. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, what I mean is Fast and Furious and Saw. They just did so many movies. Well, the superhero movie was a parody of superhero films. You can't complain about a parody. The whole point of that film was that it was a parody. It even starred Leslie Nielsen, who was the king of who was the king of comedy. Because Alpha Kids. Well, Alpha Kids aren't the problem. It's the 60 or 70-year-old studio execs who won't experiment anymore. No, it's a parody. If you watch the superhero movie, Bike Rush, it's actually a parody of superhero films. It's actually just taking the piss of them. Yeah. Well, no, money always goes into sin. That the biggest problem nowadays is Disney, Barracuda. Disney have bought up a lot of the film. Disney bought up. Amazon bought up MGM. Disney bought up 20th Century Fox. Disney bought up a lot of the competition, which Disney can now shoot a shit film and still get £1 billion in the box office. So that's the issue. Literally, the only competition Disney have really got now is Paramount and Warner Brothers. Because, 20th Century Fox is now owned by Disney. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, which is still massive to this day, was bought by Amazon. And, of course, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer owned James Bond. So they're really, really worried at the moment that they might cast an American James Bond, which if they do that, you might as well turn around and make... You might, if they make James Bond American, then you might as well think that that's Britain's biggest that's Britain's biggest film. That's Britain's biggest film. It'd be like making Crocodile Dundee Argentinian. Because Crocodile Dundee is obviously a massive Australian character. Making James Bond American would be like, as I said, making a Crocodile Dundee Argentinian or something like that. I haven't, because I don't really watch horror films. I do want to see the ones... I do want to see the ones from, what's his name though, the Philippou brothers, because I loved their YouTube channel. I loved Raka Raka. So I do want to see their 2 horror films. Want Wimp? No, I don't really like horror films that much, but I can write good horror films, guys. I can write good horror stories though. I've currently come up with one to write for a competition for next year. So I started mapping it this morning, and I think this might be a really good film to shoot. I think this might be a really good short film or film to shoot. Oh, pardon me, I just burped. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there are some things you shouldn't change. So I would never like to see, for example, I would never like to see Doctor Who anything other than British. Doctor Who is the biggest science fiction show in the world. It's the oldest science fiction show in the world. It's the biggest in the UK because it's British. I would never like to see an American actor or any other foreign actor play it. I would always like to see I always want it to be a British actor because it's a British show, and think of all the young British actors that would love to play it. No, but I mean the Doctor Who is the biggest because it's the oldest. The longest running science fiction show is Doctor Who. It's ran for over 60 years in media, on TV, film, comic, audio stories. But that's the thing though. But that's a comic. Really, Bite Rush. But things like Doctor Who and James Bond are live action characters, and they're very much British. So I don't agree if it should be if this character's British. Like, I will say though, Indiana Jones cannot be used as an example for that. Indiana Jones can't be used as an example of that because Indiana Jones was inspired by James Bond. The James Bond films dominated the action market. James Bond created the action film series. Have you seen Wednesday? As in the Tim Burton thing? I haven't, but I love Tim Burton. I will admit, I haven't seen Wednesday. I have not seen Wednesday, but I've watched every other Tim Burton film. Everything Tim Burton's done I've watched. Well, why I mean Indiana Jones is an example, because Indiana Jones was... Steven Spielberg wanted to create an American James Bond. So he took the smuggler of Han Solo and the action hero of James Bond and made Indiana Jones. Yeah, I know he means the Wednesday series, because that's done by Tim Burton. The Wednesday TV series is done by Tim Burton. Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah, some of it was, but well, Romania's gothic, isn't he? Romania's a very gothic place, as in that's where Dracula is alleged to be from, or Vlad the Impaler. Although I gotta be honest, I do like a vampire film. Ooh, makes me really want to watch Ford Coppola's Dracula. Well, the guy that wrote Dracula's not the guy that wrote Dracula's not from Romania, but that's where the character's based. Well, Transylvania, but Transylvania, what used to be Transylvania is now part of Romania. Cause there's a sketch about England saying "fuck the European Union." What Sweden? What was it? Sweden is depressing, and there's vampires in Romania. Spain is far too hot, and where the fuck is Lithuania? It's a very good song. It's all about the EU. About only part from the mountains is goth. No, I meant gothic as in architecture, but then all medieval stuff was. What about charters that don't live in countries or get inspiration from others? Well, everything, every film and story nowadays has been inspired by something. There is nothing truly original, but then what you create is original because no one's created what you've created. So, for example, the film Free Guy. The film Free Guy was original because it's basically the Truman Show, except he's a video game NPC that becomes sentient. Yeah, but that's not what I mean though. I meant Barracuda. I mean in terms of film and stories nowadays, everyone's inspired by something. No one comes up with something on the spot. What? I made a joke, I know. Yeah, well, yeah, I know you were making a joke, but I just, put a bit of detail on that. But, yeah, Gothic architecture is interesting, but everything medieval is Gothic. Gothic architecture is really nice. I don't like modern architecture, guys. I think we need to knock down skyscrapers because they are just... It's just, as the lady said once, concrete jungle which things are made from, whatever it is. There's nothing you can't do. You know what's cool but bad in Romania? I have no idea, but please don't say gypsies. I thought you were going to make that joke then. I thought you were going to make that joke. Somebody else made that joke once in the stream. Somebody once made that joke in the server. Well, we had a girl in my friend's Discord server, and she's from Romania, and that's all she used to talk about is how bad they were. And I forget. No, they're bad anyway. They stole my dog. Jesus. Yeah, I know I mentioned it, but I mention it all the time because this girl was just brain dead bonkers and stupid. She literally asked us if it snows in the UK. What? But they said the thing is though, Barracuda, every person in the world, every place in the world, it doesn't snow. It does snow. It does snow. But the thing with what people don't get about climate change is that it's a cycle. You have good weather and bad weather. So 40 years ago, the UK used to get quite harsh winters. Now it's mild. But for all you know, in a few years' time, it could go harsh again. Yeah, that's just you. From where I am in the UK, it snows quite often at winter time. It doesn't always snow in some place. If you live on the coast, it hardly snows on the coast because you've got the sea breeze coming in. That could be it. A winter, it's like 4 degrees. Yeah, but that's... the UK has a really interesting thing of sometimes the weather's good, sometimes the weather's bad. In 2018, where I'm from in the UK, it got down to minus 10, and we had snowdrifts 6 feet high. I mean, we had like I don't know a foot, 2 foot of snow. Do you know what? Imagine how hard it is to walk in 2 foot of snow. Imagine how hard it is to walk in 2 foot of snow. So, for example, guys, I'm 5'9". For example, I'm 5'9". So I stepped into the snow. Yeah. But that's the thing. So I'm 5'9". I found it a struggle to walk in 2 foot of snow. Yeah, let's hear something funny. Yeah, in Spain there was a massive snowstorm. Yeah, there was. But Europe, the thing with Europe though, Europe has good weather and bad weather. The UK, there was times when the UK would have really cold winters, then have mild winters. It's like summer. It's like summer. The summer of '76 was really warm. The summer of '76 was really warm. Then they had wet winters, wet summers for a bit. And then in the late 80s, in the early 80s, they had really cold winters. We had the really cold winters in 2010-ish. In 2010-ish, we had the same. Yeah. The thing is with winter, they moan about climate change, but climate change is a cycle. The temperatures go up, but what will happen as soon as the temperatures will go up? As soon as the temperatures go up and the ice caps melt, the sea levels will rise. Yes, they will. The sea levels will rise. But then all the fresh water that's been stored there for thousands of years will disrupt the the North Atlantic flow, and then there goes our warm climate, the North Atlantic currents. There goes our warm climate, and then suddenly it will get colder again, and then it will all freeze over again. I bumped my head on the top of the steel door. Was it a really low ceiling? Was it a really low ceiling? Was it a really low ceiling, or are you just really tall and jumped and didn't realise that the door frame was above you or something? No, just a good jumper. I'm a good jumper, guys. I can really launch myself. I did that once, guys. So, as I said, I'm 5'9", guys. So I'm just under 2 meters. That's not low. That's not low, Barracuda. 2.7 meters is 6'7". I think that's actually really tall for a door. That's 5'7", yeah. Yeah, what was I going to say? 1.7 was 3 years ago. Yeah. Jesus. Wait, you're like 15, aren't you? So you were 5'7" at 12. Jesus. That is very tall for that height. That's very tall for that age, I mean. That's very tall for that age. As in, that's the average height. The average height of a 13-year-old is 5 foot. I'm almost the shortest in your class. well, you know, some people hit their height and don't grow. So I met someone. I met someone that they were, when they were in their first year of secondary school, they were almost the same height as me. I didn't do that. I walked into a lamppost once because I didn't see it, and then went bong. I walked into a lamppost. Well, I was talking, I wasn't looking where I was going, and I walked straight into a lamppost. It went bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. It went. All you heard was bong. Actually, you heard the You have 7 kids, which is 2 meter or more. Fucking hell. Do you know how many people? Oh, you've only got 16 people in the class. You have 7 kids or 2 meter. Do you know how many people are actually under that? Do you know how many people are actually above 6 foot? Only 5% of the human population is over 6 foot. Yeah, 5'6" at 13 is mental though. I mean, when I was 13, I was 5 foot. Yeah, literally only 5% of the human population is over 6 foot. So 50% of the human population are under 5'7", so 1 meter 70, 1 meter 70 or 170 centimeters. So if you're between 5'7" and 5'11", most of the human population is under there. Joe, you have IBS. What's that? Oh, the UK safety alert. I am eligible, yeah. 'Cause I had the last one. I had the last one in 2022. I was at my grandparents and all our phones went. Irritable bowel syndrome. No, I don't. I don't have irritable bowel syndrome. The only time I've ever had anything wrong with my bowels was when I had gastritis last year, guys. And please, you do not want it. I lost 2, honestly, so I've always been quite heavy, guys. I've always been quite heavy. So some of you guys are probably taller than I am, but I weigh a lot. The water has been contaminated. I wouldn't say it's everywhere. Well, no, I haven't got irritable bowel syndrome. I don't think it's everywhere. I'm gonna go and farm on PUBG, that's alright. I threw my friend at the window last time. I thought I was happy because I didn't know it was coming. By the way, yeah, the only time I've ever had something similar to that, was when I had gastritis, and you guys never want that because I lost 2 stone in a week. I lost 2 stone in a week, so I lost 12 kg. My phone didn't survive the throw. Are you like 13 or something, LTO6? Nobody... I've never heard of that before. I was bleeding. Oh. Yeah. Are you like... Yeah, you like 13, LTO6? Because no one believe... No, I don't think anyone over that would throw their phone out the window because of an early alert system notification. No, just been getting dumb. How can... I don't get that. I don't think you're dumb. But I also... But once, I don't get that, though. I don't get how, I honestly don't get how you could not know it was coming, because it was all over the news for the 3 weeks beforehand. This day was we were having a test. And the reason they did it, the reason they created the early alert system was because they hadn't tested it in decades, and it was basically didn't work anymore. Maybe you should watch the news. Maybe you should watch the news. In fact, I would say watching the news is actually a really good thing to do, guys, because you see what's going on out there rather than you see what's going on out there. And you think your judgment yourself rather than somebody telling you their judgment and everyone believing it, if you get what I mean. The problem with people not watching the news nowadays is like someone on my stream the other day. Someone on my stream the other day said something about, oh, Israel's not a country. And I'm like, but it is a country though. Even Palestine will be a country. But the endless squabbles about you're not a country, this is not a country, you're part of us, you're part of us. That's what caused all those wars. But people saying that are the people that don't really pay attention or know what's going on, but they see a YouTuber or something that say something about it, and then they just try and have the same opinion the YouTuber has. But I think watching the news is a good idea for everyone. Because then you sort of know what's going on. You sort of know what's going on, if you get what I mean. It's an obscure country. Yeah, because I said, like in Serbia, for example, Serbian people don't think Kosovo's a country. People in Israel don't think Israel's a country. People in Palestine don't think Israel's a country. Papua New Guinea. Yeah, Papua New Guinea is a small... It's not really obscure. It's not really an obscure country. It is quite big. Papua New Guinea isn't really that obscure. Having a fissure is worse than gas. Yeah, I had something similar. I had gastronitis last year, and that's a vomiting shit bug. And I've always been quite heavy, so I'm roughly... Since I was about 16... Since I was about 16... I've always been between roughly 15 or 16 stone. Roughly 210 to 220 pounds. I've always been between there. I'm a little bit under that at the moment. But I lost over 12 kg when I was ill with gastronitis last year because of like a vomiting shit bug. I lost 12 kg, so I dropped down to 180 pounds something. I dropped down to 13 stone something, which that is, you know, that's a hell of a lot of 2 stone is a hell of a lot of weight to lose in a week. I think that's the equivalent of... That's the equivalent of basically, I was 99 kg and I dropped down to 87. But then as soon as I got better, it went the weight piled back on. But yeah, I think watching the news is a really important thing because you see what's going on. And you hear it for yourself. Hope you're doing well now. Oh no, I've been doing. This was last year. This was in 2024. So I'm normal again, guys. But yeah, I said because I was that ill, I lost 2 stone of weight, and you know 2 stone is a lot. That's 28 pounds. Yeah, you can put an image in the Discord server if you want. Are you drawing the map out? That's cool. If you are, that's cool. I'm shit at drawing. Having a fissure is so unlucky. Yeah. Oh my god, my eyes. This stream won't be on for long tonight. This was a later stream because I was watching England. I watched England play in the World Cup qualifier. Even though they won, I thought they played shit. Even though they won, I actually thought they played bad. I thought I had colon cancer. I wouldn't even know what the symptoms are for that, to be honest. It's like COVID. When COVID was massive back in 2020, in 2021, I had COVID, and I was asymptomatic, so I showed no symptoms. If I hadn't have taken that test, because everyone else in my family had caught it, I could have gone into college. I could have gone into college and killed, 50 people on the bus in, on the bus out, walking through the town. I could have killed anyone. I could have killed, 50 to 60 people. I could have killed hundreds of people. Because I absolutely did not know that I had it. Well, COVID's not eradicated. COVID's not eradicated. It's still there. It's just the vaccines. It's just if you had the vaccine, you're less likely to die from it. The thing with COVID, some people don't like vaccines. Some people say vaccines are useless. Oh, but they just give you the virus. But they do, yeah. They give you it in small. You get a part of the virus in small doses, and it teaches your antigen. It teaches your antigens in your body to fight it. And because it teaches them to fight it, because in small doses they can fight it, it teaches them how to fight it in general. So they can. So it results in they can fight. They can fight it. It's why we've eradicated so many different diseases. It's why we've eradicated the smallpox, measles, pretty much. Well, especially in the UK, polio. Which is why you don't see polio outbreaks that much anymore. You don't often see people die of tuberculosis anymore. Smallpox. The first vaccine for smallpox was from Edward Jenner in 1798. Smallpox has been all but eradicated across the world since 1977. They eradicated it in 1977. There hasn't been a case of smallpox since 1977, or was it 79? One of them. The last case of smallpox was in Somalia in October 1977. The last death from the disease was in the UK in 1978 when a laboratory photographer contracted it from research. It was completely announced to have been completely eradicated in 1980. Yeah, but that's why they do it, Oscar PS3 enthusiast. Polio, tuberculosis, polio and measles is now all into one jab. It's now all in one jab. Yeah, tuberculosis, polio, measles, and another one. It's like you don't see things like scarlet fever, scarlatina, things like that. Old Victorian viruses like that. You don't see them anymore. But I said, it's incredible what we've done with over the last 200 years. It's amazing what we've done with medicine. If you have Discord, you should check it out. I do have Discord. You were literally in my Discord server, I think. You were? Yeah, you are. I haven't seen it though. I haven't been notified. Have you ever played Red Dead Redemption? I haven't. I haven't played any of them. I have heard of them though, because I've got friends of mine play it. Oh, I don't do DMs. I don't do DMs LTO6. That's why it doesn't come through to me, because my DMs are blocked. Because people used to try and message me and spam me stuff. It's impossible to DM me. What you could do you want to put it in the writing discussion chat, and then you can delete it afterwards? We've got a channel in here. I thought that was a skeleton then. But we're on peaceful at the moment. Do you want to put it in the writing discussion chat? That might on the server. Let's just take a sleep in here, because there we go. I'm absolutely enjoying it. Jeez. It's not on the Discord since I'm only giving the details on the stream. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm currently planning out a horror book, guys. I'm currently planning out a horror story. Don't know what to name it yet. So it's just called Projects. It's just called Project Circus at the moment. Jeff Dahmer? What? Yeah, I want to do now. I want to write a book, and I want to write a horror story. I want to write like another horror story. I've come up with an idea that I know, which I think is quite an interesting idea, and I'm probably gonna start writing that. I'm probably gonna start writing that when I get the chance. So. I know it's going to come out next year though. It'll come out between May and August next year, so I'm going to enter it into the same competition that I entered the doll maker in. The same competition that I entered the doll maker into, I'm going to enter it in. That's going to be my one for next year. It doesn't have to be horror stories, it can be anything. So I entered Dawn of Planet's Vengeance in 25. I entered Dawn of Planet's Vengeance in 2025. I entered the Domic this year, and I'll enter that next year. And it's so chilled. Like your streams, because you always respond to the chats. It's because I just read it, and I feel better reading it, and it's fun. I reckon it's fun to read the chat. Plus, you can have a laugh as well. Like And plus, I give an honest answer. I give an honest answer when it's appropriate, because we had someone in my streams that used to put really weird shit. We had someone on my stream recently. We had someone on this stream. So this guy was on my streams, and he basically tried to track down where I'm from, and he got to he got to the point of a city 200 miles away, and I did it. And I thought that was creepy. I thought that was creepy. He was trying to track down exactly where I'm from, which I thought was just, you know, really creepy. But this guy was very, very creepy. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, so this guy, he joined my Discord server, and he kept putting, he had a go at someone in there. He had a go at someone in my Discord server, and it was the guy that we've never had the guy that he had an argument with. We've never had a problem with afterwards, and we never had a problem with him beforehand. And he kept claiming that the guy was sending him inappropriate messages, and when we asked him for screenshots, he wouldn't give anything, because I don't actually think there was anything there. And Decepted, my friend Decepted, put up a poll: should we kick someone from this server? And the creepy guy from my streams commented: should we keep Joe or rape him? Which obviously that fucking creeped me out. And then on the stream, the guy put a comment. We were doing a bit of like a Q&A style. Yeah, we were doing a bit of a Q&A style stream. You know, and the guy put, what's your dick size? And he put, what's your dick size? Which I thought, obviously I didn't answer, but I thought that's fucking. That's something I won't answer, because I think that's just a really dirty and disgusting question to ask someone on a YouTube stream. And I wouldn't have, and even in private, I wouldn't have, even if it had been a message in private, I wouldn't have answered it. But that's just disgusting, isn't it? Just especially on a YouTube stream. It is, yeah, but it wasn't about the grape, it was about the stalk. Hello, not James, welcome to the stream. Let's just clear some of that up. Wait, hold on a minute. So, what I'm going to do, guys, I've just worked out that this is all part of the desert. This is part of the desert biome. So, we're going to replace that grass there. Hello, not James. How are you? Check the right in discussion chat. Nothing in yet. No, there is nothing in yet. Oh, now there is. That's cool. Is that drawn on like an iPad? Is that drawn on like an iPad or something, KLTO6? Because I can see the colours, and it reminds me of an old like an iPad, like you've drawn it on an iPad. Am I right? Lazy Lagoon? Cool. It's from a phone. Is it like an iPhone then? Is it like an iPhone? Well, jokes about gambling is a bit thing. It depends on the joke, but randomly asking a streamer their dick size in the middle of a stream was a bit bizarre. Yeah, I could tell it was an iPhone because of the colour. Basically, when I was in school, part of my college work when I was in school, I had to draw on an iPad, and basically the oil style, like the oil painting style, is what they all have. iPhones. Hello, Red Lord. We were just using Ozan as an example about weird questions to ask people on streams. Yeah. So I could tell it was an iPad because that only Apple, Apple like iPad, iPhone, only Apple stuff has that type of color. Only Apple has that sort of color. And the pink is Dave. Cool. Dave is the pink orb. Dave. Why didn't you call him that? You said, well, should he be human? You don't have to make him human, but he just call him Dave from the pink orb. He's from another planet, but all the people of this world only call him Dave from the pink orb. Have I heard about Mortal Kombat? Well, I've never played it, but I know what it is. I watched a little bit of the movie they did the other year, but I never really watched much of it. Never watched it, never played it, watched a little bit of the movie. I know they're doing another one. I know they're doing another one, though, as in another movie. I remember them saying that they were going to do another one. You have 10 months to make. That's good. Is it? Are you making it for someone then? LTO6 if you've got 10 months, or is that like the time frame you're giving yourself? Cool. Well, fair play. Well, fair play. I should do that, really. I should give myself a time frame to write a book. But I never really give myself a time frame anymore. I just think to myself, it'll be finished when it's finished, sort of thing. I love book writing, but I hate it at the same time. Joking. The reason that the thing is, though, when I'm writing, though, guys, I write when it's quiet. And there are some days when I can only write 10 words. That's the thing. There's some days when I can only write 10 words. I'll admit, I was writing a couple of nights ago, and I literally spent over 2 hours trying to write, and I literally all I did was put in 2 words for the whole time. Because I just could not get what I wanted to write down. What did you get on your English? I got a C. I got a 4. I got a C. But I wasn't very good because I wasn't a very good student. Not in that I was a bad student. Not in as that I was a naughty kid or anything like that. Which I wasn't, guys. I just wasn't a good. I struggled to learn. But the reason I struggled to learn is I was always put in the class with the idiots. If you get what I mean. Not put in with the idiots as in thing. I was always put in a class because I struggled. Because I struggled, I was always put in with the kids that, you know, that they'd rather spend the time sat down throwing things across the room. And I hated it. And the only I think one of my maths teachers took pity on me, and he said to me in a class, he said, out of everyone in here, he said to me and 2 girls in the class, he said, out of every... Yeah, that, exactly, Oscar Pierce, your enthusiast. So, my maths teacher said to me and another person, Yeah, me and my maths teacher said to me and these two girls in the class, like, he said, I pity the three of you because you're the only ones in here that actually want to go anywhere, actually want to do anything, and you're being held back by these people, everyone in this class, that thinks the maths class is a time, thinks this maths class is a time for them to throw shit about and do stuff, and but it was thing. It was 100% true. Like, it got to the point this teaching assistant he was a real nice teaching assistant, real nice guy. He got that bored of it and just watching the three of us try and work and everyone else just mucking about, that he was going to take us into another room and every maths lesson and teach us maths, just because it was getting ridiculous. That never happened though. And the only way the teacher got control of that classroom was because he basically made it so however many maths questions everyone did, they got a sweet. And honestly, I won the maths quizzes, but I never took a sweet because I don't eat them. I don't eat sweets, guys. Things like drumsticks, Haribos and things like that, I don't eat them. So, I won all the questions, but I never took, in the whole class time in this classroom, I never took a sweet. Some kid ripped their hand open for attention. Yeah. Yeah, we had a person everyone in my maths class hated me, pretty much, bar a couple of people in there. Everyone hated me, and there was one person that hated me. There was only one day that they treated me nicely. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Yeah, there was a person in this classroom. That's true. Actually, no, it wasn't. It wasn't April 1st. It was October something. It was actually October. I've told you guys the story of how I got kicked down the stairs by people. Someone kicked me down the stairs. It was the day I got kicked down the stairs. This girl that absolutely hated me and just spent the class just mucking around. She was the only one in that classroom willing to help me get down the stairs to this wheelchair, because they didn't have a lift, so they couldn't bring the wheelchair up to me. So she was the only one willing to hold my bag as the medic tried to get me down the stairs. Which, fair enough, that's the only time they were ever actually treated me nicely. Even though I'm top set, yeah, I had a guy like that because I was in top set. I was in top set maths when I was a kid. Well, I don't do maths anymore, so yeah. When I was year 7, I was top set maths. No, I was top set. I was top set a few things, not maths. I was for a couple of things, and there was a guy in my top set class who basically, I passed him in the street the other week, and I honestly, the guy didn't recognise me good because he was horrible. I think he was autistic. I think he was autistic. He claimed that he wasn't autistic though, but this guy, he couldn't smile. This guy, he physically couldn't smile. Like, he always frowned. He was physically incapable of smiling. I never got photography. Photography would be fun, and I'm actually a amateur photographer, and well, I could be a professional photographer actually. But we had a guy in there. He used to mock me because I wasn't as smart as him, and he was I'm top set everything, he used to say, but yeah. Didn't want to learn because but exactly what you said, Oscar PS3 enthusiast. because he was top set, they didn't care about handing him work because they were top. Yeah. We had a guy in there actually. We had a guy in there like. Did he smell like shit? No, but he was just arrogant. So he was a little bit taller than me, so he was arrogant and cocky because of that as well. Because I was always quite short when I was younger. So when I was younger, guys, when I was 15, I was 5'7". When I was 15, I was 5'7". So this guy was a little taller than me. He was like 5'10" or something like that. I think he was like 5'10" or something like that. And yeah, they used to. He used to be a little bit cocky at me because I was, you know, a couple of inches shorter than him, which, you know, that's tight. I wasn't even short, but he tried to make me feel short. Despite the fact we had there was other people around who would hang out with this guy that were literally taller than him, and he was the short one. Which I find quite funny, that he was mocking me for being short. But it's an odd one, guys. It's an odd one. But yeah, this guy was just he didn't smell, but he wasn't a nice person. But he literally couldn't smile. Every photo of him you'd see on a school poster, he was always frowning. Physically could not smile. So I literally, whenever I think of this guy, I forget his name, but the only thing I call him is Misery, because he was always miserable. He always looked miserable. I've had that, I will admit. In my last year, who here? Yeah, we had the thing is though as well on that regard, in my last, so how many people have finished year 11 here, or done their year 11? That's so. How many people here have done their what? Not me. Yeah. I thought you were older than that, Oscar PS3. I thought you were like 18, 19. So literally, so what I did my year 11 in 2018-19. That was just a guess though. I think it was something you I think it was something you commented. It was something that you commented. It made me think you were like, you know, 18, 19. Yeah, so when I was in my last year of school, I had 4 different maths teachers. When you're in year 11, that's when you should have a consistent maths teacher throughout the year. My first maths teacher of the year left. My second maths teacher I called Martian Manhunter because his name was John Johns. So then we had another maths teacher. He came in, broke his leg, and then we had my science teacher as a maths teacher. She did it for a month and 2, and then the maths teacher who broke his leg come back wearing a boot. I had 4 different maths teachers. In my final year, and then they gave up on us. And then they brought in maths teachers to help us with intervention classes, but they never gave my class one. They gave one to the top set and the middle set, and we were meant to get one too. Apparently, and it never happened. And apparently, they broke their leg. But we were never meant to get one. The only reason the only reason we never got one, the only reason they said that was because we asked our head of maths, why have everyone else got intervention teachers and we don't? And they went, oh, you it's not as if we've left you behind, and it was. They left us behind, which. Hello, Rectangle XA, welcome to the stream. Hello, Igatobola69. So yeah, do you know what that really is, guys? That's you're not worth our time. We're done with you. And that was them giving up on us. And I'm glad I got a 4 in maths, because it took me 2 attempts in college to get it. And I think I would have got it if they hadn't have just turned their backs on us. It's shocking, isn't it? Yeah, not every school has that. Teachers that only teach you 11. Hello Isaac, welcome to the stream. Oh god. But yeah, that's just shocking, isn't it, guys? Really, that is. I don't care about you, and that is. We don't care. You're not worth our time and the effort. I'd rather sleep with no covers, because sleeping with no covers is fine. Hello, Pixel King. But yeah, if you get what I mean, everyone. To this day, I still feel that my science, my head of maths in school, I still feel like she gave up on us. So they fabricated a story about how the teacher had broke her leg. But I thought, if you've broke your leg, I was sat there thinking, if you've broke your leg, you can still teach when you've broken your leg. It's 9 p.m. for you right now. It is, yeah. I started this, but I did start this stream. I did start this stream late, though. I started this stream late because I wanted to watch England's national football team play their World Cup qualifier. So I watched England play Andorra. They won 2-0, but I thought they played horribly. Even though they won 2-0. I thought they played terribly, but the reason was I'm a bit angry that the fact Thomas Tuchel took Jordan Henderson, because Jordan Henderson hadn't when he played Jordan Henderson with England in June. He hadn't played for Ajax in 8 games. He hasn't played for Brentford this season. Yeah, I think. No offence, I know Jordan Henderson played for Liverpool for years. I don't think he should be in the England squad, because he's not playing for Brentford, and in his last 8 games for Ajax, he didn't play. He didn't play in 8 games for Ajax. He hasn't played for a league match in like 4 months. I don't think he should be in the squad. But I'll tell you something that has annoyed me, though. Hello, Gamers family. Welcome to the stream. There is something that has annoyed me recently, and it's the fact that Jared Branthwaite hasn't been given a call up. Because Jared Branthwaite, I think, should get a call up, because he's one of England's promising young centre backs. Jared Branthwaite is worth 80 odd million. Man United offered 70 million for him last summer. In the summer, and Everton rejected it. He was just about to get a call up, and then Thomas Tuchel came in, and Thomas Tuchel hasn't called him up. The thing is, though, I think they need to bring in some more youth players, if you get what I mean. They need to bring in some more youth players. I think From what I saw today, Marcus Rashford shouldn't be anywhere near. Yeah, Dean Henderson got a call up, yeah. But he's always going to be behind Pickford, because Pickford is a very... Yeah, I don't really watch cricket, though. I love cricket as in playing it. I'm really good at playing it. But I hate watching it, because I think it takes too long. Yeah, Dean Henderson got a call up. He's back up to Pickford, which is fair, because Pickford is a really good goalkeeper. There's a joke that it only seems to be Everton fans that rate Jordan Pickford, but Jordan Pickford has been unbelievable for Everton. Jordan Pickford single-handedly kept Everton in the league by getting clean sheets and making some ridiculous saves. He made one the other year where he saved one on one side, and then he went over and took it to the face and stopped the ball from going in the net, and we beat Chelsea 1-0 and survived. And he saved it. He saved one, then ran over the other, and literally made one of the craziest saves that I've ever seen. What do I do? Well, no, I was really good in school, and I like just playing cricket on the beach. But I was both. Well, there's kids that think they're tough all the time, and half the time they're not. Basically, I just played whatever, to be honest, Gamers Family. When I was in school, they forced us to bat, bowl, and thing. So what I was good at was my bowling wasn't too bad, my batting was really good, and my catching was good. So I was brought on once. I was the last batter, and we were losing 60-68. I come on and just got 9. I come on, got 9, and then got caught out. Yeah, well, it's not spelt tough. It's not spelt tough like that. Tough is spelt Tough. Young children can spell it however they want, but they're not but it's always going to be spelt the way it's spelt. I just don't understand why do children now think they can just change every single word? But it's always going to be spelt the same as it has been for, hundreds of years. I have no idea why they're trying to sound like pirates again. Tough is in that regard was spelt, that's how it was spelt under Shakespeare, because everyone sounded a bit tough and piratey then. I don't understand why young people nowadays keep fancying the ideas of changing every word. You might as well change the word fat to something completely different. I don't get it. But that's just me though. I don't get why they find the need to change words to different spellings. Like, yeah, I don't see. Yeah, but that's the point. I don't get why they need to change it. If it isn't fixed, don't fix it. Sorry, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. It's like, what's his name a few years ago? It's like Inter Milan a few years ago. A few years ago, Inter Milan, what's his name? Antonio Conte won the league with Inter Milan a few years ago. And he built up a real good team, and then they told him that they would have to sell half the players to balance the books. They were going to have to sell the squad. Any tips? No, I don't have any tips for you. Just play it. You don't need tips. You'd have to see a legacy player still. Well, I've never really stopped playing it, to be honest. I've been playing it for as long as, well, for a decade. Yeah, what was I saying about Inter Milan? Inter Milan under Antonio Conte, he was forced to. Could you play multiplayer on? You can play multiplayer on Legacy, yeah, but only with someone that's playing your console. Because crossplay didn't exist at the time. Like, the first truly cross-play game was Minecraft Bedrock. So, if you've bought it on PS4, you can only play it with someone that plays PS4. If you're playing PS3, only with PS3, if you get what I mean. Talking about that, yeah, Antonio Conte got sacked by Inter Milan because he refused. Antonio Conte got sacked by Inter Milan because he refused to sell half the players in his title-winning squad to make money for future transfers. So he got sacked so they could break the squad up, and it ended up they sold a lot of the players, which it's like, if it's, as I said, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But I don't get why people need to change like words around nowadays. Like, but the Inter Milan thing's 100% true. Yeah, they sacked him because he refused. It's like Jose Mourinho. I think Jose Mourinho got sacked as Tottenham manager. Yeah, minigames work on Legacy. Jose Mourinho got sacked as Tottenham manager 6 days before the Carabao Cup final, and I'm totally convinced. Nintendo Switch. I'm totally convinced that Jose Mourinho got sacked because he refused to be part of the European Super League. His whole thing was he was critical about it, and I reckon he told Daniel Levy that he didn't want to be any part of it. I just said Nintendo Switch. I'm totally convinced that Jose Mourinho got sacked because he turned around and said he wanted nothing to do with the European Super League. Well, you got to say though, they hated him. Yeah, they hated him, Oscar PS3 enthusiast. But in the terms of business, he was a good businessman. You got to think he turned Tottenham into a successful team. When he took over in 2000. When he took over as chairman in like 2001, let's look at the 2001 Premier League table. The 2001 Premier League table: Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle, Leeds, Chelsea, West Ham, Villa, Tottenham, Blackburn Rovers. Where's Everton? 15th. Jesus. Well, Everton were bankrupt at the time, pretty much. That's the thing, though. Would you know much about this? 25 years, yeah. What's a Discord server? It's my Legacy Discord. It's my Legacy Discord server. Basically, we talk about Minecraft Legacy, but we talk about everything. It's basically we have Minecraft Legacy Edition players in there. People talk about Legacy, but it's not just about that. It's about everything to do with this YouTube channel as well. So we talk about films, video games, everything. It's just a community. It's just a community, really. It's just a community. It's just part of the community aspect of this YouTube channel. Would you know much about this, Oscar PS3 enthusiast? About Everton's former chairman, Bill Kemwright. A lot of the younger Everton fans hate him now, but without Bill Kemwright, Everton would have been bankrupt in 2000. Would have been bankrupt. You should add glowstones to it. Oh, the water. Yeah, Everton's owner, Bill Kemwright. Everton's chairman, Bill Kemwright. a lot of Everton fans turned on Bill Kenwright and wanted him out, but without him, they would have gone bankrupt. In 1999, he swooped in and bought the club for 20 million. If he didn't buy it, they would have been bankrupt. And they said over the next 16 years before he sold it to Farhad Moshiri, he turned his £20 million buy into a £500 million sale. And they said at the start of his tenure as owner at the start of his owner at the start of his tenure as owner, they were constantly struggling. They couldn't afford players. They were near the bottom of the table. Over his 16 years, in the last 7 years under the David Moyes era at Everton, they were 6th and 7th every year. So it's incredible how fickle some fans are. First to blame someone, but they don't realise that person ended up saving it. Why do people keep saying 67 now? I don't get it. Why do people keep saying like 67? I'm confused. It used to be 69. Now people are saying that, which I don't know what it means. Height. No, I mean, I've had loads of people. I already said Nintendo Switch. Are you actually 6'7", Oscar Piastra enthusiast? I've had loads of people say 67 recently, and I doubt everyone here is 67. I doubt. Oh, it's the height of a basketball player. Oh, okay. Hello, Mikados. Blimey, I haven't seen you on the streams in a while. How often do you stream? Roughly every day. But then I was on a trip to Portugal. Cool. Roughly every day I stream, but in two weeks today I won't be streaming. Opinions. Wow. I don't hate them. I don't hate them, but I hate all. I don't hate them as in hatred of them. What with those political parties though? But I would understand though. You're quite young, Oscar Piastra enthusiast. So your opinion would be a bit more thing because you're in school. The education system very much doesn't support political parties that. The education system doesn't really support political parties that are willingly going to change stuff. Reform. I don't hate reform. But then I don't hate any of the political parties. But the problem is, the thing is though, Oscar Piastra enthusiast, why do you hate them? That's the thing. Where are you from? You have a nice accent. I'm from England, but I'm from a more traditional part of England where my accent has survived through the ages. I am not from London. I'm not from London. London, literally, you wouldn't have my accent's not. My accent's not from London. London's like 200 miles away. Yeah, I am from the countryside. Yeah, I am from the countryside. So, my accent's more traditional British. Yeah, I'm totally opposite. I don't like Jeremy Corbyn. Yeah, I'm from London. Yeah, the thing with London though, London's accent has completely changed in the last 40 years because London is now so. Yeah, I don't like Jeremy Corbyn, but I didn't like him when he was leader of the Labour Party. Yeah, but it's not about blaming foreigners though. It's not that they blame foreigners. It's not that they blame foreigners, Oscar Piastra enthusiasts. They blame everybody. But there is a reason for it. They do have a point in a certain regard. They have a point in a certain regard that they have just let too many people in now. The problem is they have let too many people in, but this initially started because English people have got lazy. No, yeah, that's what it is, Oscar Piastra enthusiasts. They're not blaming foreigners. They have no problem with people that are entering legally. It's the people that enter illegally. That's the people they're moaning about. It's not with reform. They're not blaming people from come here. They're saying you can come here, but you've got to end. Reform don't hate foreigners. They hate people that enter illegally, because people that enter illegally, you've got to try and look out for why are they entering illegally. So a politician said it recently. A British politician said it recently. Why would someone enter illegally? Maybe it's because something might flag up that would deny them entrance legally, which technically he had a point. So I'm surprised this didn't happen a couple of years ago. You might not know about this though, because I think you just said you're not. You said something about year 11 earlier on, so you probably would have been. No, they don't. No, they don't hate it. They don't hate religion. The problem that they hate is there is some parts of religion that are not compatible. The bit they hate, you might not have heard of this one. But the reason they hate people that enter illegally is because in 2020, a guy came in illegally and wanted to see if he could get deported. So he randomly grabbed an 18-year-old in the street and killed him. And that was one problem. It's not that they hate Islam, but it's not that they hate Islam. Religion's not there's people that are Islamic who support them. But the thing is that they were mad at. The thing that they're mad at was the scandal. There was a scandal. You guys would have heard of the grooming scandal. That's the one thing that that's the thing that they've hit out at massively, was the grooming scandal. It came out that a few men were part of a grooming scandal with young girls in the UK. And it came out that the police never did anything about it. And it was covered up. That's what they're blaming at. It's not that they're blaming Islam. They're blaming the police for covering up what these men did. And it came out that it was covered up, and a lot of politicians have only just become aware that it was covered up. That's what they're moaning about. It's not every political party though. There's something you should hate about every political party. So for example, I don't like Keir Starmer because he got everything that he promised when he got elected last year. He's gone and done absolutely the opposite. It's not the thing with politics in the UK. The only reason Reform UK are becoming so popular is because British people have had enough. British people are becoming annoyed. There was a woman last year. She said something inappropriate on a tweet, but she got sent to prison for it, and they said though she should never have been sent to prison for the tweet. You can't be sent to prison for something for a tweet, which is technically that is quite wrong. But hello, Dark Shadow. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, it's not about the political parties. So all the political parties, the only reason people are going for reform right now, Oscar PS3 enthusiast, is because the British people think that the British people are getting annoyed. Yeah, this is legal. Yeah, a woman in the UK got arrested for a tweet, and basically that's what they're moaning about. The British people are starting to get annoyed. So there was a lady that voted for Nigel Farage last year. She was originally from India, and she claims that the reason she voted for reform was because when she moved to the UK in 1960, she integrated, she learnt English, and they welcomed her with steady arms. And her thing was, basically, this lady's quote, why she voted for him was, she thought people were coming into the UK now and weren't integrating. Which is kind of true. There's people that live in my town that can't even speak a word of English. I don't get how you can do that, personally. I wouldn't want to live in a country not knowing how to speak the language, because you can't talk to anyone. If you need to go to the hospital, you can't turn around and ask someone to call for an ambulance. And if you can't read the English as well, how would you know where anything is? I would find that quite scary if I'm trapped in a country. If I'm living in a country that I can't actually speak anything of. That's what people like Reform are saying. They're saying that there's people now, like, which is kind of true in a way. I read a story recently about a man. He's been living in the UK 18 years and he's never bothered to learn English. And I thought, well, how can you do that? And this kid they interviewed, his son, said, oh, the only reason he gets away... Well, I absolutely love my country. I absolutely love the UK. I love the UK with all my heart. There's only 3 things in life, guys. Hard work. There's only 4 things in life. Love your family, love your country, hard work, and loyalty. That's the only things that should ever matter to anyone. But the thing is, though, like, this kid got interviewed about his dad. His dad had lived in the UK for 18 years and he still couldn't speak English. He'd never bothered to learn it. And the only reason he could live like it was because there was other people working there that could speak Romanian, or I think it was. Which I thought, I wouldn't want to live like that. I wouldn't want to live in another country and not at least be able to have another conversation with another person that lives there. 9 years. 9 years. I've been playing this world since 2016. But the problem with the UK, though, is partially that. So Keir Starmer's question... The problem with the UK, though, Oscar PS3 enthusiast, is that it's been Labour and Conservative for over 100 years. But people are starting to get annoyed with what's going on. Labour only won last year because people were pissed off with the Tory party, and now everyone's pissed off with the Labour party, and everyone's still pissed off with the Tory party. So people like Reform are just going to win the next general election, because there is no other political party that's anywhere near. I'm different though with Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn got kicked out of the Labour Party over the anti-Semitism, which I don't get how anti-Semitism was allowed to be in the Labour Party. And so that's not why I dislike him. I never liked his policies when he was Prime Minister. I always thought, I always didn't like him. And I thought he was an issue. I thought he was an issue doing Brexit when they were negotiating Brexit. Jeremy Corbyn always kept trying to put votes of no confidence in, and every time they failed. And yeah, never liked Jeremy Corbyn, but I didn't like Keir Starmer. I haven't liked any of them. I haven't liked any of the politicians. I haven't liked any of the politicians in the UK, and the reason I hate them all, guys, is because they're all career politicians. All their policy, all their views change as people change. The problem is, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, politicians were older people that basically had worked all their lives and then become politicians because they were bored. And they had their opinions and they stuck to them. But nowadays, we've got people that generally go into politics, learn politics, and they're literally told, change your political views and change your opinions on things to get into power. And a lot of them do. So Keir Starmer turned around and said he wouldn't raise taxes or do anything like that, and then he turned around and did it. As soon as he was elected, he went and upped all the taxes, which is there we go. Sorry, I got a nose. Yeah, yeah, 9 years on this world, guys. 9 years. I'm gonna end this stream soon, guys, because it's 9:30, and I want to write a little bit of my book. I'm planning out a novel to write. And publish for next year, and I've come up with a horror story to do. Goodbye, Oscar Piastri enthusiast. Thank you for joining the live stream, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. I'm asleep now. Good night. I'm probably going to write a little bit of my book, guys. It's a Saturday, so I'm going to have some ice cream in a minute, because I went to have some earlier on and my throat's dry, so I'm going to have some salted caramel ice cream in a minute. Probably stick a film in, guys. I don't know what to watch yet, guys, but I've got loads of films to watch. What did I watch last night? Oh, I watched Independence Day Resurgence. I watched Independence Day and Independence Day Resurgence over the last 2 nights. Today the 4th of July will no longer be an American holiday, but the night when the world cried out in one voice, one message, that we would not go quietly into the night. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. Great speech. I've only liked Bill Pullman in 3 things. I liked Bill Pullman in Spaceballs. I liked him as Thomas Whitmore in Independence Day, and then I liked him as Oswald Danes in Torchwood. And if you do not watch Torchwood, guys, if you're under the age of 15, and I'm telling you that very sincerely because it's very violent, but it is a good show. It's actually a spin-off of Doctor Who, but it's an R-rated spin-off of Doctor Who. And it was pretty good when it aired. It finished after season 4. Bill Pullman, who played Thomas Whitmore in Independence Day, Bill Pullman played a serial killer called Oswald Baines. Very good show. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end the stream. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!